We interrupt this program to bring you...
I don't fish down there, the water's dirty. But I've been fishing this river all my life.
Poison in the Potomac, the PFAs crisis in DC's waterways. By myself, VonHooks'em. Welcome to today's episode, where we dive into a growing concern right in the heart of our nation's capital. Toxic pollution in our waterways. More specifically, we're talking about PFAs, also known as forever chemicals. These are harmful substances that don't break down easily and are showing up in the fish tissues of species swimming in the Anacostia and Potomac Rivers. This isn't just an environmental problem, it's a public health crisis. So how did I get here? I started out with a general interest in pollution in DC's rivers. But with some guidance, I narrowed my research to focus specifically on PFAs, contamination, and its effects on aquatic wildlife, and the people who consume that wildlife, especially those residents who rely on subsistence fishing. My research question became, how do PFA chemicals affect wildlife and those who consume it in DC's rivers? This focus helped me explore the intersection of environmental damage and community health, particularly in underserved neighborhoods where fishing isn't just a hobby, it's a food source. PFAs, or per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, are synthetic chemicals used in everything from non-stick pans to waterproof clothing. They're resistant to water, oil, and heat, which makes them useful for products but dangerous for ecosystems. Once released into waterways, PFAs build up in fish and other aquatic life, moving up the food chain and accumulating in humans. A 2023 study by the Environmental Working Group found that fish caught in the Anacostia River had PFA levels hundreds of times higher than the health guidelines recommend. This is from the Environmental Working Group in 2023. The long-term health effects of ingesting PFAs include hormone disruption, immune system issues, and even cancer, according to a 2022 summary by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. And I quote, "Exposure to some PFAs can lead to reproductive and developmental effects in humans, increased risk of some cancers, and interference with the body's natural hormones." And here's the kicker. Many residents don't even know the fish are contaminated. There are language barriers, limited public outreach, and almost no visible signage warning against eating the fish. A 2021 community survey conducted by the Anacostia Watershed Society found that only 18% of anglers were aware of fish consumption advisories. One of the most striking things I learned from my research is that this issue hits communities of color the hardest. In neighborhoods bordering the Anacostia River, areas that have historically faced environmental injustice, people fish because grocery store options are limited or because it's a part of cultural tradition. But catching dinner from the river shouldn't come with a health warning. Now let's talk about solutions. There is ongoing research being conducted by groups like the U.S. Geological Survey and local environmental organizations. They're collecting fish tissue samples, monitoring water quality, and even experimenting with technologies to filter PFAs from runoff before it reaches the rivers. A 2019 scientific review by L.C. Sunderland and colleagues in the Journal of Environmental Science and Technology reports that PFAs bioaccumulate in aquatic organisms, impacting fish reproduction, growth, and behavior. Policy-wise, Maryland and DC have begun discussing fish consumption advisories, but more is needed. We need more funding for cleanup, more multilingual education campaigns, and legislation to regulate industrial PFAS discharges at the source. As Robert Bullard emphasized in his landmark 2000 book, Dumping in Dixie, communities of color are disproportionately burdened by contaminated waterways and lack of environmental enforcement. In closing, PFAS pollution in DC's rivers isn't just a science problem. It's a social justice issue, Protecting wildlife means protecting people, and the more we know, the more we can pressure our leaders to act. Thanks for listening to this episode. If you fish in the area, know someone who does, or care about clean water, I encourage you to learn more and share this story. Our rivers and our people deserve better.